Bridgewater. We are going to be talking about a lot of football today. We're going to be talking about some coaching changes. We're going to be talking about some controversies, including Antonio Brown. And, of course, with the conference championships on Sunday, we will be talking about our Super Bowl predictions.
So welcome, Bridgewater, to Beyond the Blitz.
Beyond the Blitz.
We finally have a name for our podcast. You might have heard us before. We did a couple of them last semester, and we're going to keep doing them throughout the off-season and everything. But today, we're getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and this time we have Ayinde joining us finally.
Hello. I've been wanting to join this for a little while. I love football. This was a really, really exciting year. It's probably one of the more exciting years that I've been able to of football that I've watched. And so it's nice to sit with two of my buddies, getting to talk about some football, maybe even learn a thing or two.
We got Ayinde Roberts joining us, and I'm Brandon Wells, and as always with us, we have Justin Rogers.
Heck yeah. All right, so we want to start with these coaching changes then?
I think that's the most relevant thing right now, right?
All right, so do we just want to go down the list?
Head us up.
All right, so first one that is my personal favorite is Bruce Arians to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh,
that's the best one.
Good.
I think it's the best one because that is the one coach that can actually develop Jameis Winston. Like, if we're being completely honest, because he did pretty well with Andrew Luck. He was with Ben Roethlisberger for all these years. Probably why Ben Roethlisberger is the way he is. So this could be the turnaround of Jameis Winston's career. Do you guys agree, disagree? What do you guys think?
Most definitely. I think I was part of when Winston was on Florida State. I was like, this kid's gonna go places. But then I think his first two years was just, I feel like they were really underwhelming. He didn't deliver what was promised, and I really wanted to see him succeed with this team. Like the Buccaneers, like they're a very capable football team, and they don't really have I don't think they have the leadership, to really take them to those higher places. I feel like with Bruce Arians now as coach, I feel like he's going to be the sort of the kickstart that this team needs. What about you, Brandon?
I really like Bruce Arians. I think he did some great things with Arizona, but the one thing I like Bruce Arians about the most, he's a no-nonsense coach. He's going to get in there. He's going to do it. He's going to go for it. I think that the best thing Bruce Arians can do is kick out Jameis Winston, get a new quarterback, a fresh face in Tampa, start fresh, because I don't think Fitzmagic or Jameis Winston are the future of that team. I think they've both shown that they're mediocre at best. I think if Bruce Arians is going to really succeed, he needs to bring this no-nonsense coaching aspect to Tampa and start fresh.
That's a take.
I mean, come on, you're talking about no-nonsense, and if you're a no-nonsense coach, you got to start with your quarterback, and I think the only thing Jameis Winston has on him, granted, the play that he had this past year wasn't that great, but when he did, he had more wins than Fitzpatrick did, even though he did play more games. But I do think he could develop him, and I'm pretty sure he's on his last year of his contract. So again, if this doesn't work out, you could go that route with the 2020 draft and all these amazing quarterbacks coming up. Try out for a year. If he doesn't work out, trade him and get a quarterback.
We can say all we want about Tampa, but last year under Dirk Koetter as their head coach, they still had the number one passing offense in the NFL, switching between these two quarterbacks. Neither one of them put up great numbers, but combined, this passing offense knew what to do. So I think under a quarterback that doesn't make stupid mistakes and makes a lot of turnovers, this offense could still be that number one spot just with less turnovers and mistakes.
Yeah, and Bruce Arians, he's bringing in his coaching staff that he wants. I'm pretty sure he hired Todd Bowles on defense, which the defense he had in Arizona was pretty decent, pretty good along with his offense. So,
speaking of Dirk Koetter, Atlanta finally got their clean slate, fired all of their offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, all that. We got Dirk Koetter come over to Atlanta for the offensive coordinator position. Again, he's been there before, so Matt Ryan won't have to learn new system. Atlanta already has the talent on offense.
Oh, we've seen that this year.
And with Koetter coming from Tampa with the number one passing offense, with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, I think Atlanta's offense is going to be dangerous next year. Yeah.
And Sanu, yeah.
And Austin Hooper going to the Pro Bowl at tight end, quietly.
Yeah, quietly. And you'll have Freeman back, hopefully. If he doesn't get hurt. But, all right, so the next one that we have to talk about is kind of a surprising one, but I think one of the smarter coaching decisions is the Cleveland Browns hiring in-house and hiring interim offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens. So what do you guys think about that? Because one of the biggest things that everyone's talking about is how good Baker Mayfield was, how good that offense was when they kicked out Todd Haley.
And how young they are.
Yes. So, what do you guys think about this hire, and what do you see for the Browns' future with this hire?
I am very happy that they hired inside. I thought that hiring outside would have been a mistake at this point. You don't want this star quarterback to learn a whole new system. Hiring from inside is probably the best thing they could have done. I don't know if I would have went with the pick that they did. Probably would have just kept the interim coach that they had because he did great things.
Yeah.
But I definitely approve of hiring inside because he already knows where this team is headed and he has a very clear direction of where he wants his team to go.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't expect the Browns to be under Baker Mayfield. I thought, though the Browns are going to be fine, but they're not going to be anything anything worth talking about. But my word, this is probably the best I've seen of the Browns in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield, you color me impressed. I kind of was off the guy for a little while, but you do thoroughly impress me, and I feel like you were saying, getting hiring in house is probably the best thing that the Browns can do. I feel like from that they can really build a team that maybe next year might actually win the AFC North, might win their division. With some of the stuff we're going to talk about with the Steelers, with the Ravens, which under Lamar Jackson's really impressive, but I don't think that they're going to be as big of a contender as they were by the tail end of this year, and a Bengals team that's really been falling off, in my opinion. So yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I think my biggest 2019 prediction is Cleveland wins that division. I think that the Ravens have a great team. I don't think that they're going to be fantastic under Lamar, though. You never hear, when you talk about the greatest quarterbacks of all time in that discussion, you never hear anything outside of a pocket passer. You will never hear quarterbacks like Lamar, Cam Newton, Michael Vick ever be considered a top 10 quarterback of all time. They're not top 10. Michael Vick is a great quarterback. He's not top 10 of all time. He will never be a part of that discussion. Because great quarterbacks are pocket passers. And Lamar, he's a great running back, perhaps. Right. But quarterback, I think that they still need to be looking.
All right, I kind of want to go on a side note here. You talked about Cam Newton possibly out for the year next year. So, a couple questions I have. What suggestions do you have for the Panthers on what they could do at quarterback? Do you trade for a guy? Do you trade for a guy like Nick Foles? Get him for a year? I think that would be a smart move on the or do you draft a guy? Because maybe Cam Newton's not working out, and this might be your segue. This is get our guy for the future. What do you guys think?
Well, personally, I'm a Falcons fan, so I see a lot of the Panthers. I see them play a lot because I have to follow their team. I'm not being biased or anything, but I don't think Cam Newton is a great quarterback. He is athletic, yes, but he makes poor decisions, and his arm accuracy, he has a powerful arm, not an accurate arm. Yeah. And that causes a lot of problems, especially when you start 6-2 and miss the playoffs. And that was with Cam healthy, too. But I think that Carolina, they won't look for a new starting quarterback in the future, but I think that for next year, they should probably start thinking about a solid backup to Cam.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for right now, though, Foles is for me the most viable option. I don't think drafting a new quarterback. I feel for the Panthers, it's a team that's always been on the cusp of greatness. They've always had Christian McCaffrey. I love dude, so good, but he still needs. He can't carry the team by himself. And with Cam, if Cam is out for Cam's going to be out for the year, they're going to need somebody who's going to be able to lead that team. And I feel like Nick Foles is the most viable option. I can't really think of anybody else other than them looking towards the draft. I can't think of really anyone who would be best suited for the Panthers.
Well, Nick Foles is the best available quarterback for sure, but I don't think he should be a backup at any point. He signs a 1-year contract, then what is he going to do? He's been very loyal to the team of Philly. If Philadelphia does decide to go the Wentz route and get rid of Foles, I think Foles needs to go to a team that's going to recognize his talents enough to start him long term, like maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Or the team that I want to talk about next with their hire, the Denver Broncos, who just kind of failed as far as bringing a quarterback who was a backup for most of his career, had one good year, and then nothing with Case Keenum. But they just hired a defensive guy. They hired Bears defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, which he has a lot to work with in Denver.
Sure
Like,
does.
especially on that defensive side of the ball. Do you think it was the right... Because the defensive side of the ball, like, they didn't play bad this year. But, like, it was really the offensive side of the ball, except for Philip Lindsay, who played phenomenally this year. Like, do you think that was the right hire, getting somebody on the defensive side of the ball being your head coach and then just bringing in another offensive coordinator? What do you guys think?
I think it was the perfect solution. If you look at Chicago and what he did in Chicago, having one of the best defenses in the league, and then Baltimore, except for those two, what other team in the league has the most talent on the defensive side of the ball? The Denver Broncos, who has been very underwhelmingly performing. The Denver Broncos, there's a problem there. You have so much talent, but you're doing so little. You bring this guy in that knows what he's doing with the talent he has. Denver's going to have a top 3 defense next year if they can find a decent quarterback and improve their offensive line a little bit. You have a stud in Philip Lindsay, maybe get another receiver. Denver's possibly a playoff team again next year with this head coach.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, with a division though, that division.
That is a pretty heavy, pretty stacked division.
I'm not saying they're going to win the division. I'm just saying they're a playoff team, possibly.
Yeah, true. You're right.
I actually agree. There's really not much I can say that Brandon hasn't already said in better ways than I could have said it.
All right, now I think the most surprising hire, at least in my opinion, was the Arizona Cardinals hiring Cliff Kingsbury. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, I kind of had an idea of who he was, but like,
well, one, that's not my most surprising hire. We'll get to that in a minute.
okay.
Arizona, I honestly don't know who this guy is that they brought in. I think that going from a coach like Bruce Arians to this guy that nobody knows on a team that's already ranked 32 out of 32, I don't think Arizona's going to get much higher. They're not going to get much better at talent. Larry Fitzgerald's not getting any younger. They don't have pretty much anything going for them on that team, and I don't see them being anywhere except for top 30 again maybe next year.
Okay. Well, I mean, all I know is this guy was an offensive coordinator for USC, and then went to Texas Tech. Didn't really do too well there. But I mean, offensive side of the ball, that's where they needed to improve the most, and they hired an offensive guy. So, what do you think, Ayinde, about this hire?
Yeah, I like with you guys. I've never heard of this guy. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm intrigued. That's a word. I'm intrigued as to what he's going to bring to a Cardinals team that desperately needs something.
Yes.
Going 3-13, no team wants to go 3-13.
The most risky thing you can do in the NFL is hire for your head coach, college football coach. Sometimes they work. Most of the times they're horrible.
Because college football and NFL, they're just completely different. So trying to bring in a college football coach to the NFL is you're asking for failure. But hey, maybe this guy knows what he's doing. Maybe maybe that's the Cardinals must have saw something in him to hire him.
And I'm sure the Dolphins saw something in Alabama when they hired him.
Oh gosh. Yes. All right. Well, next we can talk about the Green Bay Packers and their hiring. So they hired Titans offensive coordinator Matt LaFleur. What do you guys think about this? I thought this was kind of surprising too, because the Titans, their offense wasn't spectacular this year. So why do you hire this guy who now you have to learn a whole new system for Aaron Rodgers as well? Which, I mean, he's an intelligent quarterback. I'm sure he could, learn the system pretty well. But what do you guys think? What are your comments about this hiring? What does the future now look like in Green Bay with this hire? What do you guys think?
Sorry, Ayinde. As your Packers fan.
Yeah, you
are. I know.
I'm
three more years of mediocrity at least.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think I have hopes. I didn't think the Titans offense was as bad. I thought the Titans as a team itself they looked like more complete than the Packers were. And I think it is a little bit shocking, a little bit surprising, but I can understand the Packers need something. Like last year was not good at all for the Packers, and I think this is a good first step. I mean, there are many more steps that we need to take, especially improving especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think on offense, healthy. We're still one of the best in the league. I'm not saying we are the best because look at the competition that you got. I mean, you still have the Patriots and you have Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs, which is such a that we're gonna get onto the Chiefs.
I could talk about Mahomes for an hour.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, but when the Packers are healthy, they're a great team, and I feel like with this new coach, the new offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, he was offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think this is a good move. I hope hopefully this will bring something new to the Packers, something that will help them probably not win the division next year, but I feel like we'll still become a playoff contender.
Packers are never not playoff contenders. It's
Yeah,
just how they finish their seasons is what matters.
True.
They usually start hot. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's in the MVP, and then all of a sudden, quietly, the Packers, you haven't heard from them in a couple of weeks, and then before you know it, they're on a 4-game losing streak.
Yep. Yeah. You mean like this?
This season. All right, so now we got the New York Jets. I don't know how you hire Adam Gase.
This is my most surprising coaching.
It's just he got fired from the Dolphins. How do you hire a coach who didn't really do too much on a team? And then I would have thought the Jets should have hired Mike McCarthy. That's what I thought, because the only place he interviewed, and he said, well, it's the Jets or bust. Well, because it was the only place he interviewed. I thought it was a slam dunk, but then Adam Gase. What do you guys think?
Mike McCarthy willingly wanted to coach for the New York Jets. He is a Super Bowl winning coach and has had years of experience with one of the best quarterbacks of our generation, and they just go and hire a guy that's already proven to be mediocre on a team that's even more mediocre, with more mediocre players and a more mediocre track record. It's just
you're asking
5 more years of mediocrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a recipe for failure right there. I agree. Mike McCarthy, as you know, much love to him. He brought the Packers a Super Bowl ring, and he's such a great coach. And with a New York Jets team that desperately needs a coach that is really really good and knows what he's doing and isn't like. What's the best way to describe it? I am shocked. I think this is the first time I'm hearing this. Wow, Jets.
You didn't know that they hired Adam Gase?
No, this is the first time. This is the first time I've heard it, and I think I feel like that's telling.
After this, you should go look at his conference game. He was high on something.
Man!
Goodness gracious! If you haven't seen that, go look up Adam Gase's conference game when he first got hired. Man was on something.
But no, the Mike McCarthy should be the coach for the Jets, and I feel like with this, I think the Jets might finish last in the league.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, it depends. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, so we have 2 more teams to talk about as far as coaches. They both have not hired coaches yet because the coaches they want to hire are still in the playoffs. All right, so we're going to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, and they plan to hire, according to SB Nation, Rams quarterbacks coach Zach Taylor. What do you guys think about that? I mean, all we got to work off, at least from my perspective, is Jared Goff, and he played well since his rookie year. It could be the offense, but what do you guys think about the Bengals hiring a quarterbacks coach with Andy Dalton on the team, or possibly a future quarterback? What do you guys think?
I think it's not Marvin Lewis, so congratulations, Cincinnati.
It's true. It's true. I mean, the second longest tenured head coach behind Bill Belichick, and he didn't win a playoff game. Finally, Cincinnati. I mean,
6 consecutive.
Yep. It's true. What do you think, Ayinde, about this possible hire? They plan to hire him. They haven't hired him quite yet.
I think the Rams, as a team, he's a great. Jared Goff's is a really good quarterback. I was about to say he's not. He is, but LA as a team, Jared Goff's not the star, and I feel like bringing him, if wanting to hire him, I feel like that's gonna fix one aspect of the Bengals. It's not taking care of everything else, because there is still you can bring you can bring him in, and you're gonna whoever the quarterback ends up being, if it ends up being Andy Dalton or anybody else, you're gonna have that side of the ball is going to be fine. I feel like we still need to work on the rest of the offense, and I feel like bringing him in, it's only going to fix one aspect, and there's a lot of stuff that the Bengals need to work on. They're still a fine team. They're not like Brandon. His years of mediocrity. I feel like with this, I feel like Bengals probably gonna get like another year. Probably finish like third in their division, but nothing too terrible. I hope it works because it's gonna be a AFC North is going to be a weird division to look at with some of the stuff some of the other stuff we're gonna be talking about.
Wait, who do you have Cincinnati beating in their division? You said third?
Probably the Steelers.
You think Steelers are going to be fourth?
It's either going to beat the Bengals might beat the Steelers or they'll be tied for third.
That's interesting.
Okay.
We'll talk about.
So we can segue into that, but just as like a PSA, the Miami Dolphins are also planning on hiring the Patriots defensive coordinator Brian Flores, which that could be really good because they used to have a pretty good defense, and that's what they built their team around. But then you just have to have a quarterback on the other side, and they have pretty decent everything. So if you guys have anything else on that, if not, we'll move on to some of the bigger news in the NFL. When talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Antonio Brown
self-imploding on themselves.
But will he be traded? Will he not? I mean, there's lots of stuff going on. Like, AB's not returning anybody's calls, even the owner's calls, and Rooney. And so right now, in my opinion, it looks like he's going to get traded. At some point, he's expressed that he wants to go to San Francisco. Now, if he wants to go to San Francisco, then what are the Steelers going to get back? Because they have the second overall pick. I wouldn't think they're going to get rid of that for Antonio Brown. So, what do you guys think? Think about this situation that's going on.
Well, when you have arguably the best receiver in the NFL demanding a trade, you're going to get offers. Steelers are going to hear from teams. They will have multiple options. There are many teams that need a receiver. I think that the best landing spot for Antonio Brown in my mind would be the Denver Broncos. I think that they most need a receiver. They have the most potential out of those teams that need receivers. I think that they don't have too much really to give up for it. I think that that's possibly the best landing spot in my mind for Antonio Brown. But I could also see him just being Antonio Brown, spitting in the Pittsburgh Steelers and going to Baltimore. I could very well see that happening too.
Yeah. What do you think, Ayinde? What do you think about this situation?
If Antonio Brown doesn't get traded, I'm gonna be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, dude, he is probably one of the best receivers one of the best receivers in the game right now. And with somebody of that caliber, like you were saying, he's asking for a trade. Yeah, your people are going to be lining up in droves for this dude. And I think the Broncos, I feel like, is a viable option for him to land if he lands in Baltimore. Hey, that's my home team, so I'm not going to complain. That's home team, but yeah, I don't know, man. This is a really interesting situation right now. I haven't been following the Steelers that closely, but what I've seen, this is crazy. This isn't something that the Steelers haven't already been dealing with. With Le'Veon. I don't know.
This is just one of those seasons. One of those. As a Steelers fan, I've been preparing my entire life for at least a 5-year span of where we're not going to be good because of I don't know what. But as a Steelers fan, I liked AB. He was a good player, good guy. But and then you just see this happen, and you're just like, well, what made this happen? Is it the organization as a whole? Now you're asking, well, with other players, could this happen with other players as well? Is it the organization? Is it Mike Tomlin, putting him on too loose of a leash? I don't know, but we'll see. As a Steelers fan, I'm just hoping we get a bunch in return, a whole lot, draft picks, players. We better get a lot in return for this guy.
Well, there's something else you got to think about. You're not just trading for Antonio Brown, the athlete. You're trading for Antonio Brown, the person, as well. You're going to get his drama that he brings along as well. And you don't know what happened over in Pittsburgh, but maybe it wasn't Mike Tomlin or Ben Roethlisberger at all, like Antonio Brown claims it is, because we still don't have any inside information on that.
Right.
Maybe it's just Antonio Brown being a brat because he didn't get what he wanted. Maybe he's just jealous because Juju had a better season than him. And maybe it could be a lot of things, but when you have players like Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr., you're going to get the drama, and that's still going to distract the team at some measure.
Yeah.
So that could very well decrease his value.
True. All right, so do we want to start going into playoff predictions?
Well,
you got one more thing.
Got one more thing. We talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just real quick, landing spots for Le'Veon Bell.
New York Jets.
New York Jets?
Agreed.
They're the only. I think they're one of the only teams that will give him the money he's demanding, and they need a running back.
I don't think that is going to happen, but I would love to see Le'Veon Bell running behind the Indianapolis Colts offensive line.
He said he wanted to play there. I think that would be great.
Le'Veon Bell would have a 2,000 rushing yard season and another 1,000. They would have a 3,000 yard season total behind the Indianapolis Colts offensive line with Andrew Luck throwing to him. That defense, Indianapolis maybe will get that number 1 seed if he goes to Indianapolis.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
I could definitely see that.
I don't think it's going to happen because Marlon Mack is going to be a stud, or maybe that's just the offensive line making him look like a stud. But nonetheless, will they? You know?
Yeah, but then I feel like you'd have to take some sort of pay cut for at least from what he wants if he wants to win.
Well, he's going to have to.
Yeah.
No team's going to give him what he's wanting.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah. All right, so now we can talk about the games this weekend. So we got the Chiefs and the Patriots in Kansas City. That's a big thing. In Kansas City, not in New England. And then we have the Rams traveling to New Orleans playing the Saints.
This is going to be one of the most interesting conference championship games I've watched in a long time. Like last year's conference championship games, I was mildly interested in, but I at the end of the day, I knew it's going to be the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl regardless. Now I'm not so sure. And that's exciting. Like, this is the first time I've been like, I need to watch this game. Like, Patrick Mahomes, what a season! Like, what a season! Oh my goodness!
He joined Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady is the only in his first NFL season start. In his first season as a starter, he joined Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, great company, as the only player in history to throw for over 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in the same season. As his first year as a starter. If this kid doesn't get injured, he's going to end up being the greatest of all time. I think he's got a lot of.
He has everything that he needs to be one of the best quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And but then again, you're going up against the Patriots, and I know a lot of people are calling the Patriots the underdogs in this matchup, and why? I mean, understandable, but also at the same time, like it's you still got Tom Brady manning the ship, and who knows how that conference the AFC Conference Championship is going to be. Like,
with this game in Kansas City, Tom Brady officially ties Mark Sanchez for
road playoff games.
Really? Yep.
For a number of road playoff games?
Yes, for a number of road playoff games. This game in Kansas City, Tom Brady ties Mark Sanchez as quarterback for most road games. Or not most, but just road games.
But just road games in general.
Yes.
Wow.
So he has as many road playoff games as Mark Sanchez. Because they just always play at home.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think because it's in Kansas City, I think Kansas City has a better chance.
Did you watch that game, Kansas City, Indianapolis, from start to finish? Did you watch that game?
Mm-hmm.
They looked literally like one of the greatest teams I've ever seen. They looked unstoppable. I don't think anyone can stop the Kansas City Chiefs at this point.
They answered the one question we had about that team, and it was that defense.
Justin Houston.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you play like the old Kansas City Chiefs defense. Like, their defenses used to be really good, and now you pretty much shut down Andrew Luck, and now you're going after other number 12, Tom Brady. So who do you guys got? Got Kansas City or New England this weekend?
I got you. I have to take the Chiefs. I'm gonna take the Chiefs, and I'm having up by 13.
13. Wow, that was a close game. What do you think?
I don't care if it's Tom Brady or Uncle Rico. Chiefs by 20.
Chiefs by 20. All right. Yeah, I'm also gonna go with Chiefs. I'm gonna say Chiefs by 10. We'll say by 10.
I feel like.
Or at least
Brady's going to put up Brady and the Patriots are going to put up a fight. I don't think it's going to be. You said by 20? Not a chance. Not with
maybe first half 20.
When they played the first time 43-40 total, the Patriots won. I think that was one of the best games of the season. I don't think the Patriots will beat the Chiefs twice in the same season.
So you don't think it'll be a back and forth game like it was?
It's hard to beat a team like that as good as they are twice in the same season. I think that they will be very close. in the first half, and then when they come back from halftime, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to just fling that ball around, and the Patriots defense won't be able to stop it.
Yeah. All right, now we got the Rams Saints. I think this one's going to be a little closer because of how well we saw the Rams run the ball against a pretty decent Cowboys run defense.
Yeah.
So it's and the way that the Saints played against Philly at home. So, what do you guys think about this game?
I think that I can make the same exact argument I just made for the Chiefs Patriots. I don't think New Orleans can beat a team as good as the Rams twice in the same season. It's the same argument. It's just they're too good of teams to shut out like that.
Yeah, I actually don't know, and
It's a tough
it is because of the playoff game against the Eagles Saints game. I feel like that. The Saints going up against a team like the Eagles, this should have been a cakewalk. This should have been a cakewalk.
So do you think that
I feel like Saints are at home, right?
Right.
So I feel like with home field advantage, the game will be close, but I don't think the Saints have it in them to win the championship. I don't think they do.
As of recently, the Saints just haven't looked like they did in the middle of the season.
Yeah. I don't know, because I think the Rams answered a lot of questions, because towards the end of the season, they weren't running the ball as well as they were in the beginning of the season. Todd Gurley kind of tapered off a little bit at the end of the season, but then they answered a lot of questions. And the fact that, I mean, as an NFL fan, and also with guys I was watching the game with that are Cowboys fans, they're like, C.J. Anderson's a Ram? What? You know? Like, now you have, like, one of the biggest 1-2 punches in football with C.J. Anderson, who was a starter, and somehow made it to the Rams. And then you had Todd Gurley on the other side of that. Like
who's just Todd Gurley?
Right.
There's no way. You can't put him in.
I'm not convinced I wasn't just Eddie Lacy in the C.J. Anderson uniform. Looks like him. He's growing some meat on him.
Yeah.
The fact they running that ball.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say the Rams, but I just have I have a gut feeling about this Saints team that I think since they are at home, they could pull off this win. So I'm going to give the Saints the win this weekend, overtime, win by field goal.
I give the Saints the most headhunting in this game, but I give the Rams the win.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Rams win by. I think they win by a touchdown.
Although technically, right now in the odds, the Saints are heavy favorites.
Really?
Heavy favorites.
Wow,
favorites?
really?
Heavy favorites.
Heavy favorites.
That's interesting.
Like, the odds aren't even giving the Rams really much of a chance at all.
So, okay, if it's tied near the end of the game, or like they're down, somehow the Rams are down by 6, 2 minutes left, do you trust Jared Goff to go down the field, win the game?
If he really wants it, if he really, really wants it. And I feel like the Rams is a team that is hungry.
That's tough. That's a tough question.
Yeah, I just don't think I'd trust Jared Goff. I feel like, obviously you trust Drew Brees more than you would Jared Goff because he's Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Well, Nick Foles almost did it. If Alshon Jeffrey caught that ball, we might be talking about a completely different game right now.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
I don't know.
So, you guys have Rams, Chiefs. I have Saints, Chiefs. So,
Regardless.
What do you think? Regardless of who it goes, you think Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Yep.
Yes.
There's no way.
Yeah. The way that defense looked.
My one question about the Saints was, could they win a playoff? Not the Saints. My one question about the Chiefs is, could they win a playoff game? Andy Reid did exactly what Marvin Lewis did, lost like 6 playoff games in a row, and then I was like, you can't change one player on a team, get rid of Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. You can't change one player and do what they did, but I was wrong. They are. They're doing what they did. They proved to me, hey, they can win a playoff game, and they can do it. They can take control of a playoff game, and I'm very much convinced. I am on the Chiefs bandwagon.
Yeah.
Watching them against the Colts, I don't think they're stoppable. See you, Justin.
See you, bro.
All right, man.
We're going to be closing this up soon, but what's your final prediction of the Super Bowl?
Oh,
Points.
no. It's going to be the Chiefs. Regardless of who's winning the NFC championship game, Chiefs are going to win. I feel like they're going to win by, I'd probably say 14, maybe.
My prediction since week 3, and they made me look like a fool, was the Chargers beating the Patriots in the divisional round. I got to the divisional round. This is my prediction since week 3, mind you. I thought it was going to be the Super Bowl, Rams versus Chargers, LA Bowl. I thought the Rams are going to win 31-17 because I didn't think the Chiefs would win a playoff game. The Chargers went out there and was like, I think they went out there. Phil Rivers just went in the huddle. Was like, let's prove Brandon wrong. Went on the field and just no.
He felt he was like, oh, he trusts us to go into the Super Bowl. Let's not.
I think he sensed it, but after watching the Chiefs play before the Chargers even took the field, after watching the Chiefs play, I'm like, I can just stop watching the playoffs. There's your Super Bowl winner right there. They looked like the most complete team I've seen in the last 10 years.
I cannot argue that. The Chiefs, honestly, like, this is their first AFC Championship appearance since '93. Mm-hmm. That tells you something. Like, this team is special. And I don't think that with that long of a gap of championships, I don't think they're going to be like, they're going to stop. They're going to want to stop there. They want to get to the Super Bowl. They have to get to the Super Bowl at this point. It's not a matter of want. It's a need. And I feel like that need to get to it. The Super Bowl's in LA, right? No,
it's in Atlanta.
It's in Atlanta. Either way, regardless of where the Super Bowl is, a Chiefs team which is so good and still fairly young, like that team, they're gonna want it, and I feel like they're gonna want it more than the Patriots are gonna want it. Brady's already one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need this Super Bowl. He doesn't need another Super Bowl. He doesn't need another AFC Championship win.
I'm telling you right now, the way to beat Tom Brady, you blitz him, you play man coverage. Don't play zones. Don't play cover 3. Blitz him, get in his face. Don't let up. He will eventually.
He's going to make mistakes.
Swinging around, he's going to make mistakes. And that's the way to beat Brady. You got to make him feel uncomfortable in that pocket, and then you just have to get tight coverage. You cannot give these receivers a gap, and you cannot let him have the screens. You can't let him have those underthrows, because that's where Brady tears you apart, as he checks the ball down. Right. And then he lets his men do the work. But
how would now? Here's the question: you're talking about how to beat Brady. How do you beat Patrick Mahomes? Do you think anybody can?
I don't think that we have an answer for that yet, because we haven't seen it. Patrick Mahomes is his first year. I think he has a lot to prove next year. I think that this year is pretty much lost in patch. We haven't seen too much of Patrick. We've only had 1 year of footage on Mahomes.
Right.
We haven't seen really what his kryptonite is yet. I think he has so much to prove next year. If he comes out next year and he still puts up the numbers he's putting up this year, it's sold and locked. Patrick Mahomes is a monster. I think that next year is going to really show who Mahomes is. But I think that winning the Super Bowl this year could be a perfect start to a great career for Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
But on that note, if Brady and the Pats win the Super Bowl this year somehow, does Brady retire? Does Belichick retire?
Belichick probably.
Are the Patriots dynasty done if they win the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I feel like they probably won't be done, but they need to be. There needs to be a changing of the guard. You've established that Brady, like I said, Brady is already one of the greatest of all time. He has nothing left to prove. This should be if Brady goes to the Super Bowl, let's assume in this crazy world where the Patriots beat the Chiefs and wins the Super Bowl against the Rams. That should be it. He should be done. Just like Ray Lewis back when Ravens went to the Super Bowl. That's it. That should be he should retire right then and there. He has nothing left to prove. He's given New England a team that they can be proud of for numerous years. Like countless first seeds, countless AFC, countless championship games, countless Super Bowls. He doesn't need to. He's given everything that he can. He cannot give anymore. Same thing with Belichick. There needs to be a change. There needs to be a new Patriots, like something that the Patriots, like this era of the Patriots, was phenomenal. When they're healthy, when all the stars aligned, they're just, it is a wonder to behold. Like that, I hate to bring this up, but the Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Falcons.
Mm.
I know that was a free. I know it was. I wanted the Falcons to win that game, but seeing a team come back like that doesn't just happen. That is something wonderful to behold. There needs to be something else. You can't keep relying on this on that and as we're gonna have a good season, because when that's gone, what do you have? There needs to be a change, and this change needs to happen probably the end, like after the Super Bowl. Like,
I don't know how much this change might affect them though, because I think what happened, you got a man like Josh McDaniels that knows that team very well. He had a head coaching job in the bag. He literally was signed and everything. Well, not signed completely, but right before he was about to be official, he pulled out of that deal with Indianapolis. It was like, I don't want to coach Real High. Guarantee you, 100% is what happened. Bill Belichick pulled him aside and be like, look, I'm retiring in the next 2 years or so. I want you to be the head coach after I'm gone. You know the team. You know how to keep this franchise going. You know how I like to coach. And you're going to keep coaching my coaching. Like, Josh McDaniels is going to coach the New England Patriots after Bill Belichick retires, and he's going to continue coaching just like Bill Belichick coached. He's going to run Bill Belichick's team.
Do you think it's going to be as effective, though? Because it's not. Like, Bill Belichick, I feel like there is a reason why people talk. Like, Bill Belichick has this. When you hear that name, you think of greatness. Like, you think of somebody who has created a team and who has led a team that is just so dominant. That has been so dominant for years upon years. Like, I don't think that regardless of how the coach, who's coaching and how the coaching style is, it's not going to be the same.
It will never be the same. No, the Patriots will never ever be as good after Belichick leaves. I'm just saying that McDaniels is going to keep them relevant for years to come. If what I say is true, and Belichick actually had that conversation with Josh McDaniels, which I'm willing to bet money on it, I think that they're still relevant. They're not going to be the best of all time like they have been, but I think Belichick and Brady go out together. I think Gronk goes with Brady. I think they all three leave at the same time. They're going to have hardly any talent left on that team, at least on the offensive side of the ball.
You think Gronk's retiring, or he's just going to go to a different team?
Gronk is retiring. He's already been flirting with the idea for a couple of years now. I think him, Brady, and Belichick all leave the same year, and the Patriots implode on themselves. But McDaniels is going to somehow keep this team together, holding on by his string, and is going to keep them relevant. We're still going to be talking about them in January, I feel like, even after Belichick leaves. Just because that's the Patriot way, and McDaniels knows the Patriot way. That's why he hasn't left yet. He's had all the chances in the world to go somewhere else, and he hasn't. There's a reason for that.
Now, speaking of retiring, if same question with the Saints, does Drew retire if he wins?
I think Drew wants an MVP. Drew wants an MVP. I don't think he's leaving for at least another 2 years. I haven't even heard Breeze say he's going to retire.
I don't know. It's just Breeze is he's kind of like, I don't want to say he's super old because he's not, but he's still an older. He is a vet. Like he's won a Super Bowl. I think that if he wins this game against the Rams, I feel like he has proven a lot of his doubters wrong, including myself. I didn't think the Saints were going to be, first seed. They were going to be like, I didn't think they were going to be one of the best in the league. But I was proven wrong, and if he wins against the Rams team that has been really, really good. I feel like he has proven that a lot more doubters wrong, and then if he can beat a Chiefs team, a complete Chiefs team. What more can you ask for?
As a Falcons fan, my hatred for the Saints grows deep. I hate them, like pure hatred for them. No matter how much I want you, I cannot hate Drew Brees. I actually love Drew Brees. I hate the Saints, but I love Drew Brees, and I actually want to see him succeed. I just wish he wasn't doing it and going black.
Right. I kind of understand because I'm the same thing with the Bears. Hate them to death, but. It's not necessarily the quarterback because Mitch Trubisky. All right, Seoul was a great team. That defense was wow. I haven't seen the Bears defense that good in a while.
Khalil Mack.
Yeah,
where Khalil Mack goes,
yeah.
Defenses succeed.
So I respect the Bears. I don't like them. I hate them with everything that I have and am. Mm-hmm. But I respect that team. Winning the division. It's been a while since they won a division. So same thing with the Saints. I'm not a big fan of the Saints. I really haven't been a big fan of the Saints. But I respect Drew Brees. I respect that. I respect the organization. I don't have to like them, but
I don't respect an organization that doesn't fire their head coach after a bounty game. That's my 2 cents. But they're still a great football team. No matter how much it hurts me to say, they're a great football team, and I think that you can just never count Drew Brees out. As long as he's on that team, he's there.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting weekend. I'm really looking forward to see how the Super Bowl picture is going. What team we're going to see? What teams we're going to see? It's just this is probably the most excited I've been for a Super Bowl in a very long time. finally a large possibility that we're going to see the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, a non-Brady Super Bowl without Brady.
I love it.
I want to see that. I want to see what a game like that is like. Cause
You remember Denver and Carolina Super Bowl?
I didn't like that. Something just felt off about that game.
I just like seeing Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl ring.
Yeah,
I love Manning.
After he got, especially after he got shellacked by was the Seahawks.
Yeah, that was
off.
Manning actually played good that year too. All right, so we got the Super Bowl coming up very soon. I'm sure we don't have to tell you that, but after the Super Bowl, we will come back a couple weeks later, and we will talk about the off season, what's going to happen, the draft, where teams are going to go. We might give our predictions for the next season as well. So this has been Beyond the Blitz. Thank you for joining us, and we will return very shortly in a couple of weeks. Thank you for listening.